Hey, welcome. In this video, we will talk about the sun. We will learn how the sun was formed, how the sun generates so much energy to keep shining for billions of years, what is the age of the sun, how long will the sun live, and most importantly, what will happen to the earth after the sun dies. We will answer all of these questions and many more in this video. So let's start. Let's kick things off with the basics. Have you ever wondered how big the sun is compared to Earth? Well, let me tell you that the sun is massive, like mind-blowingly huge. We could fit more than 1 million Earths inside it. And it's very hot, from 6,000 degrees on the surface to boiling millions of degrees in its core. The sun's gravity is about 28 times stronger than what we feel on Earth. This powerful gravity is what holds all the planets, moons, asteroids, and everything else in the solar system in orbit around the sun. The sun also contains about 99.8% of all the mass of the solar system. That means all the planets and moons and everything only contain about 0.2% of the total mass of a solar system. Now let us talk about the formation of the sun. The sun and the entire solar system was formed 4.6 billion years ago in a molecular cloud inside the Milky Way galaxy. Molecular clouds are vast, cold and dense regions in space, composed mostly of molecular hydrogen and other molecules. We can think of these clouds as the cosmic nurseries for star formation and planets. This is an image of the Perseus molecular cloud. It is a collection of gas and dust over 500 light years across and hosts an abundance of young stars. A light year is the distance which light travels in 1 year. So you can imagine how massive these molecular clouds are. The densest regions of these clouds contract due to gravity, and as the regions collapse, it began to spin rapidly and form a disk, which is called a nebula. The center of a nebula is called a protostar, which continues to contract and become more massive and eventually evolves into a star like the sun. So now that we understood how the sun and the solar system was formed, let us now try to understand how does the sun generate so much energy to keep shining in the sky for so long. We all know about nuclear weapons and how powerful they are. Well, the sun uses the same principle to generate its energy, but on a much larger scale. To be more specific, the sun undergoes hydrogen fusion in its core. This fusion releases an insane amount of energy. Think trillions of nuclear bombs going off every second. This energy, which is generated in the core, reaches the sun's surface slowly, and after about 8 minutes, it finally reaches us on Earth. So next time you feel the warmth of the sun on your face, remember that you are soaking up a piece of the sun's nuclear energy. So we have so far learned how the sun was formed and how it generates its energy. Now, let us try to understand the sun in more detail. First of all, let me tell you that the sun is not a boring ball of gas burning in the sky. The sun has many features, and we need to understand them in order to understand the sun in more detail. Some of these features are sometimes very dangerous and seriously harm our existence. So we must understand them and watch the sun to prepare ourselves for such adversities. Let us try to understand them one by one. We will start with sunspots. Alright, imagine sunspots as temporary dark patches on the sun's surface. They appear because the sun's magnetic field is acting up, causing cooler areas. It's like magnetic freckles, but still crazy hot. These sunspots aren't just for looks. They can stir up solar flares that might affect our technology here on Earth. So when you spot a sunspot, it's like catching a glimpse of the sun's magnetic drama in action. Next is the prominences, which are like fiery solar hairdos, where the sun's hot gases decides to show off. Picture huge glowing loops or arches of gas leaping off the sun's surface into space. It's like the sun saying, "Check out my cosmic hairstyle." These solar flares of awesomeness happen because of the sun's magnetic field playing a game of cosmic jump rope, lifting hot ionized gas or plasma into these mesmerizing loops. They can stretch out for thousands of miles, and when they erupt, it's a stellar fireworks display. Just like sunspots, prominences aren't just for show. They are a part of the sun's dynamic behavior. Sometimes, if one decides to let loose, it can unleash a solar storm that might affect our space gadgets. So when you see those flaming loops on the sun, it's like catching a glimpse of its magnetic dance moves. And we saved the best for the last: solar flares. Solar flares are like the sun having a bit of a moment. It's when the sun's magnetic field goes out of control and there's a sudden burst of energy. Think of it as a cosmic outburst. And depending on the size, solar flares can be anything from a small hiccup to a pretty big explosion. But here's the thing: these solar flares aren't just cool light shows. They can mess up with our technology. The energy they throw our way can interfere with satellites and communication systems on Earth. So when scientists talk about solar flares, they're not just being space enthusiasts. They're keeping an eye on the sun's mood swings for practical reasons. One such event took place in 1859 and is called the Carrington event. It was the most intense geomagnetic storm in recorded history. But since in 1859 we were not so technologically dependent, the destruction was not that severe compared to what it might cause if it occurred today. Now let's talk about the age of the sun and how long will the sun live. Well, the sun is currently about 4.6 billion years old and is expected to live for another 5 billion years or so. This is because at some point it will run out of its hydrogen fuel and will enter the later stages of its life. But before it dies, it will expand and become at least 100 times its current size. And because of that, it will eventually swallow all the inner planets, including Earth. All life on Earth will eventually perish. But don't need to worry, it won't happen in our lifetime. Eventually, the sun will end its life by forming a white dwarf. White dwarfs are very interesting objects, and we'll talk about it in another video. And that wraps up our journey to the sun. Thanks for joining me on this stellar adventure, and I hope you found the video to be very informative and interesting. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I would be more than happy to help. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more cosmic content, and until next time, stay curious and keep looking up. I'll see you in the next video.